last time we did this, we misspoke. So this is the Poor Bastard's Almanac, episode 28, I believe.
I think we could probably just get away with fudging some numbers.
Probably. This is episode 192. I think it's 28.
You missed the 100th anniversary there.
Flew right past it. I think this is 28. Crazy. We've been doing it a while. We're basically veterans now. I mean, surely...
speak for yourself.
The world owes us some followers by now, doesn't it? Aren't we entitled to something? I thought, we just got handed everything and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I was told there was going to be medals and awards.
Man, the only thing super productive I've done lately is I just kind of started digging into... I just saw something randomly run across Reddit about, what was it? Some, Mikel Joliet. Thanks, comrade. Remember when Republicans lost their fucking minds over a fabricated conspiracy theory about a sex ring run by Democrats? Now there's an actual sex ring run by Republicans selling access to the president, and they are silent. I was like, all right, what's this asshole talking about? So I dug into it a little bit, and he's referring to the Cindy Yang affair, which that's pretty much all it is. It just has a name, the Cindy Yang affair. Not much more to it than that. I went digging into it, and it's some Chinese businesswoman who... she's had a string of massage parlors, Asian massage parlors. Some people get hand jobs in them, apparently. No surprise there. And apparently she's
apparently in the business well, we haven't got there yet. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, I mean, some of the, it's like a business that she has sold specifically.
Like 10 years ago,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't been connected to any of this for a decade.
Right. Yeah, now she's kind of been in politics for a while. She was a donor to Trump's campaign, and apparently there's a group of like Asians for Trump, which I'm sure there's like a term for that. It's kind of like women who like Trump, it's some sort of Stockholm syndrome. I'm sure that they're going to, berate these people with. There's no way
it's not their true feelings. It's not like they're feeling these feelings on their own.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. These people, there's no way they've come to this conclusion by themselves. They must be brainwashed or something. So, which is like so fucking offensive, like, give some people some fucking credit, but whatever. So yeah, I mean that's about the extent of the whole thing. Is that now she's in politics. She's donated to Trump's campaign, and yeah, she throws like banquets at Mar-a-Lago, and like Chinese businessmen get to meet Donald Trump, which is, I mean, that's absolutely nothing new. That's about as old as it gets. I mean, that's why Barack Obama started his presidency, a thousandaire probably, and now he's a multimillionaire, He didn't make that on presidential salary, I know that. So yeah, I mean, they all do speaking engagements and shit. It's about as normal as it gets. I don't know. So yeah, it's just more, hey, look at this. The Mueller probe is coming any day now. Here it comes.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get past the hypocrisy in crying that he's selling access through publicly known about meetings when There's so much surrounding the Clinton Foundation,
Right.
and them selling what they were assuming would be access.
Yeah, so it's another non-issue. It's stupid. But the headlines are all going to read,
Oh, is that headline's juicy? That's they've turned into tabloid.
Human trafficking, Trump is part of a human trafficking ring. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just tabloid buzzwords swill, man. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I mean, you stack that up against Pizzagate, and I mean, Pizzagate was pretty wild.
At least compelling.
Yeah.
For God's sake. At least they had actual real correspondence to base them off of, for God's sake.
Yep. Yeah, there were real children involved. Because that whole Instagram account was just strange. I mean, that's why there was so much buzz around it, is because of that Instagram account and because of the whole spirit cooking thing. It's because, there were all these children in these weird compromising positions and stuff like that. No, none of them were like overtly or expressly sexual, but still, it was.
Yeah, I'm going to say where there's smoke, there's fire on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there was something weird going on there.
So So in this realm of so-called conspiracy theory, we had mentioned off the air, we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein getting off light, and how the surveillance apparatus of the United States, why wouldn't a place like Jeff Epstein's little island out there just be a blackmail factory for politicians to control them? And hell, other people for that matter. Why would you stop at politicians?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, you can just use your imagination as to what they would manipulate and make people do.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the whole reason for this place's existence. And that's why Epstein gets off so light, is because, it is some sort of like Scientology entrapment, where they have to, the whole premise behind Scientology is that you tell them everything and then they've got dirt on you and now they can blackmail you.
Imagine being able to just wantonly spy, to have that kind of technology, and that there's nothing to stop you. There is no other force that is going to reach in and pop your hand and keep you from doing that, because not only do you have the technology, you have people with the technical skill and know-how to wield that stuff properly. And I don't know, I guess it boils down to humanity. Yes, given that opportunity, man is going to fuck with it. Why wouldn't they? That is what an ability, what power you have in blackmailing and controlling through that method. I mean, holy shit. It's kind of scary if you really think about the logical conclusions that you come to, accepting that yes, that has been abused, and I don't know, it all seems pretty blatant to me. But I don't claim to be a prophet or anything other than a poor bastard. I offer this up for anybody's review. But as the situation lies, that's how I feel about it. That I bet there's shit that goes on that island and otherwise that would make R. Kelly look like he was going to Sunday school.
Jeffrey Epstein charges, I guess. Let's see, what was he charged with? Thanks, Vox. Here's what Vox says about Jeffrey Epstein. Convicted sex offender who was friends with Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. Explained. Okay, so they admit that he used his collection of famous friends to avoid a prison sentence for molesting young girls. He was accused of sexually abusing dozens of underage girls at his Palm Beach mansion between 01 and 06. But he got 13 months in county jail. Thanks to a deal signed by Alexander Acosta. Who was Trump's Secretary of Labor. Epstein says that any encounters were consensual and that he believed they were 18 at the time. He's 65 years old. Oh. Why is this thing? Why? Vox is too wordy, man. Just give me some, TLDR PLZ. Oh well. So yeah, I mean it's the same thing we've all been saying is that Epstein paid underage girls to give him massages, sorry. He used the girls as recruiters, hiring them to bring him other underage girls. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's I don't know. That's all he gets. Is 13 months in the county jail. I'm not surprised. I mean, yeah, he's a zillionaire.
That guy's getting less than Paul Manafort.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Yeah, but lying to Congress is obviously worse than molesting underage girls, though. I mean, come on. Psych. Dude, I have been digging into Super Metroid. I finally did it.
Yeah. So you got out of Brinstar and into Norfair.
Into Norfair, I'm actually
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
That boss that you were fighting where you shot the missiles into him to back him up, did you finish that?
Not yet. I need to go. I got to go get more super missiles. I've only got 5 super missiles. I've got to get, I picked up a guide. I got to get at least like 15 super missiles before I can breeze through that guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because, and it's all about timing it. Because those super missiles will knock him back.
They do. And I've got the timing down. I just didn't have enough missiles. I've got enough regular missiles. I don't know. I also, yeah. Apparently you can use your charge beam to knock him back a little bit too. But yeah, super missiles are going to be the way to do it. So.
Yeah, let me know when you clear that.
It's one of the next things I'm going to do, I think. Yeah. But I've got like the ice beam now. I've got the wave beam. I've got the super run, the double jump or the hyper jump or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm moving along in it. Honestly, it's fun. Like I'm loving it. I think Hollow Knight was a better experience overall, so far at least. Super Metroid's a little clunky, which, I mean, it's, that's kind of normal for games of that era. Hollow Knight's also mostly like melee as opposed to ranged. I don't know. Super Metroid's easily like incredible for sure. But I don't know. I guess just the updatedness of Hollow Knight. There's something to be said about that. I think. I think they're both definitely playable games. And I don't know that I'm necessarily trying to make the case that Hollow Knight's a better game. Just that it's a more updated experience. I'm also I'm definitely gonna play through it and beat it because it is the intro sequence was incredible. Like that really hooked me on the game. The way that it kind of like throws you in to some action there, some like I guess like a little like a forward to the game almost that it dumps you into. I thought was really cool.
Man, that new Hollow Knight game looks sick.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. That's going to be a good game. Still playing the shit out of GTA. Something's gone weird with my video card drivers. Like certain textures, like the moon, the moon and like windshields, you can like see lines in them and in the mini map. It's really strange. I don't know why these little lines are hanging out in these certain textures or in these certain objects even, but it's still playable regardless. It's just kind of strange, and it just popped up randomly. I'm still using the same Proton version. When I try to use the latest Proton beta, it kind of gets crappy. Let's see. I can tell you which one I'm using too. I'm using Proton 13.6-4. The latest beta is, did I say 13.6? 3.16. Proton 3.16-4. That's what I'm using for GTA 5 specifically. And it works great. I had to do something like, this is when I first played the game. You have to install some kind of like fonts package to get the social club to install and move forward. But other than that, it's been a breeze. It'll crash randomly, and I think I've boiled down the crashing to sometimes the game will start in windowed mode. I'm not sure what causes that. And I can make it go full screen, but when I do that, I think that's when I'll play it for like 5 minutes, if that, and that's when it'll crash. And sometimes like changing graphic settings don't work right. It's definitely playable. I mean, I've just gotten to Trevor. I'm actually like a couple missions in with Trevor now, just because I love Trevor as a character so much. He's one of my favorite video game characters of all time.
So is it just kind of accepted that, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, that with Linux and the way that operating system is, that everything might not work 100%?
Yeah, I mean, things that aren't specifically made for Linux, yeah, they're, your mileage may vary is like one of the highest, like, it's probably one of the most used acronyms in like the gaming on Linux subreddit or Linux gaming subreddit. Because your mileage may vary. Because everybody's hardware setup is different. Everybody's software setup is a little bit different even, so.
Man, that's so cool. Linux is the future.
It's very cool. So yeah, I'm playing. I was able to get a ZSNES running on my desktop Linux here. It runs great. That's what I'm playing Super Metroid on. And then I've actually got my Raspberry Pi going again. Hence one of our last episodes where I had to upgrade it the entire time. It took the entire podcast to upgrade. But it's working. It's working great. I've got 2 Super NES controllers I got online. They're just cheap Chinese knockoff USB Super NES controllers. They work okay. The directional pads leave a little to be desired. But I did play through some Turtles in Time the other night. and that was a lot of fun. I've played a little bit of Mortal Kombat 2 on it. I've played a lot of Link's Awakening. I'm like 4 instruments in on Link's Awakening now, and that's going well. I forgot how good that game was. They're supposed to be remaking it for the Switch, which is whatever, you know.
Yeah, and I heard that it is a very, very close, I mean, as close as it could get to being a carbon copy of that game.
Yeah, just with like Link Between Worlds graphics, basically.
Looked really great. And man, I played that game when I was real young. That was a really awesome story. In the realm of stories and, you know, the different vehicles of the delivery of a story, when different mediums, whether it's, you know, movie, comic book, whatever. It's just amazing, this story that was conveyed through that little yellow handheld Game Boy Color, you know, when I was but a young lad.
I've got a diary, or I guess it's like a journal that we were like required to keep in school. And from 3rd grade, where I was playing the shit out of this game. And it's funny, my teacher would make comments like, "Don't you ever go outside?" and stuff like that. But it's cool that I've got like a little, you know, gamer's log about my progress through some of Link's Awakening. And it's weird. I remember, I mean, because that was shit 20 years ago. I can't remember. I mean, I can't believe that I remember like stuff from this game, and I don't remember everything. Yeah, 25, 26 years ago, I guess. Yeah, I can't believe there's things I remember from this game. These have to be like some of my oldest memories, which is, I mean, kind of strange. I mean, most of my oldest memories are tied to video games, though, and are tied to actually, you know, Zelda and Super Mario Brothers specifically. Pretty much, we used to play a lot of Zelda 1 and 2. Well, we tried to play a lot of Zelda 2. That game's impossible. That game is so fucking hard. But yeah, I played a lot of those on the NES, and played a lot of the original Final Fantasy on the NES. Played a lot of Duck Hunt, of course. Super Mario Brothers, like all 3 of them, Mario 1, 2, and 3 were all just such good games. It's so crazy to me how good Mario 2 was, and all it was just like a reskin of some other random game that they had. I mean, I guess it's not completely random. I mean, they wouldn't have just chosen some piece of shit and reskinned it. So I guess they knew they had a good game on their hands that they could just throw Mario into and be like, haha, Americans are happy now. Because, yeah, Mario 2 is a good game. It is crazy, though, how, like, crazy of a departure Mario 2 and Zelda 2 both are. Because they're, like, way off in left field compared to the original games. I know there are still a lot of, I guess there's a few, like, traits that Zelda 2 brought in that stuck around, but maybe not really. Zelda 2 added a little bit more RPG elements to it, but I can't think of another Zelda that really has any RPG elements, other than just kind of a bit of a, you know, a gear grind. Well, and, you know, acquiring more hearts, but that's every Zelda. So that's pretty wild. I don't know. You finally got I see you knocked out a kill in Eve the other night. You got yourself a corporation lined up. Uh-oh, did you die or did I die?
So, dude, I don't know how much I can say about that, really.
Right.
I don't know if it really matters that I mentioned the fact that I'm in a corporation, but I did pop an amicus. And anyhow, yeah, I've been doing the dive thing, going deep and stuff. But my bad. I didn't mean to be quiet there. I was actually warping around, and I decloaked and did something stupid on total accident because I suck.
So are there mods for Eve? Are there add-ons?
No, I mean, well, there are things that can work in tandem to Eve as far as websites and applications that use that interface with the API system, but it's called something now. I think in May of last year they swapped how they did that. Yeah, that's that system, that window, or that, I guess, that conduit to player information and stuff allows folks to do all sorts of stuff with like the kill boards. The kill boards pull from that data.
But Eve's very like windowed mode friendly though.
It is, yeah. I run 3 monitors, smooth as butter. Only 2 of them I use for Eve.
Yeah, I used to run Eve on when I ran it, for the month or so that I played Eve. I did run it on 2 monitors.
That's the only way to do it, man. That's why I love it. The setup I've got, Eve is not very demanding on my system. It's gorgeous too.
There's some great mods for Kerbal Space Program to make it look beautiful. I really want to jump back into that game at some point, but trying to find time to play video games is not easy. I'm trying to knock them out one at a time. That's why I'm not feeling bad about using a guide to beat Metroid, because I want to play it. At this point, I kind of just want to get it out of the way and say that I've played the game and I've beaten the game and I've experienced the game. I did that a while back with like Final Fantasy VI, and now I've gone through FF6 a second time and really enjoyed it. But I think knocking it out that first time was important. Because, I mean, yeah, some of these games are just classics. You got to play the classics. I don't know, I feel like it's going to be a very long time before I have time for another MMO. But I imagine it would be something like Eve, something I can really dive into, like embroil myself in the community, find a corporation, find some people. Because that's what I loved about WoW so much, was like the people that I met, the things I did with those people. And I mean, not just like somebody else coordinating all the events. I ran my own guild for a couple of years and I coordinated a lot of events, but it's just having just the camaraderie is really like what I kind of miss from games like that. And I feel like that's the strong point of those games, and that's kind of what WoW took away from itself, was its own camaraderie. I mean, yeah, you can still find a guild and stuff and do that sort of thing, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's what it used to be. Maybe WoW Classic will kind of bring that feeling back. That'd be nice.
I think one of the reasons why Eve does not feel that way, I think Eve is on the totally other end of the spectrum when it comes to interacting with. I mean, you can have your high sec solo mining, mind your own freaking business, because the game runs off those people too. They pay a subscription and they enjoy the game the way they want to, and their freaking materials that they're mining up go towards like Tech 1 fittings and stuff that newbies need to buy.
Yeah.
And so, that fact, and the fact that most everybody's on the Tranquility server, that if you're playing Eve, you are in the same universe as everyone WoW has just splintered its community across shards.
Yeah, ouch. I mean, that didn't make any sense.
And it's gotten messy with phasing, and that's why there's all this group finder bull crap. That's why that's just not going to get any better, because it's become accepted now. And if you did something like that to Eve, it would be absolutely appalling. It would break the game.
How many servers does Eve have? How many choices do you have?
Dude, I really only think there's like one or two others, and they're like test servers or something.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
I'm pretty sure. There's only a handful. I know there's at least two more, but I'm fairly certain that Tranquility is the main one. And that does a lot for making this game feel just absolutely vast. And it is. Holy crap, it is. This is a huge freaking game. In both size and scope, honestly. Down to the most minute asinine detail of a module's fitting requirements and stuff.
Yeah, so how do enemies scale in that game? I mean, there is no like in-game PvE content, is there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and if it's outside of high sec, you better watch your ass, because there's a whole lot of non-consensual PvP going on. That's why wormhole space, higher class wormholes, there's a sweet spot. I think the common the conventional wisdom is, to start out you want to do C1s if you're just doing basic shit. It's getting something that you can solo C1s, a C1 site and stuff with. And that's for, the ratting sites. We're also talking, relic sites and all that jazz. Because sometimes they've got rats that show up in those.
And that's PvE. Ratting is PvE.
Yeah, they're bad guys that swoop in and you bust them, and you can loot their wrecks for certain items that might show. And you can salvage the wrecks if you've got a salvager. Or you can hack relic or data sites for money. Or if you're in a minor vehicle thing, you're looking for a gas site or an asteroid belt or an ice belt. And basically the difficulty of the system, the class of the wormhole system, really depends on the difficulty of the rats and what kind of loot and yield the different sites are going to give you.
Okay.
I mean, obviously in K space and known space, high sec going down to low sec is going to be your difficulties roughly, and the danger therein. In low sec and null sec, there's nobody to save you. That it's not. You have to watch yourself while you're ratting, because an opportunistic cloaky bastard might just pop up at the opportune time while you're in the middle of ratting, and pop you and get the killing blow and then fly away.
Oh.
And and that's why I was camping a low sec ice belt a second ago, watching 3 retrievers all next to each other do their mining thing. We were the only people in that system, and if I'd have popped out, they would have eaten me alive. Those drones were swarming like flies. There was one rat that all 3 of them were right next to, and a retriever is a larger mining barge, and all 3 of those retrievers must have large drone bays. I was looking at over 8 drones flying around attacking that one rat. Damn. And yeah, drones are definitely something that a stealthy of my type needs to look out for. Those things would have eaten my lunch if I'd have popped out. I think I'd have probably needed 2 or 3 more people at least a group of 3 or 4 to truly knock a hole, like focus 1 or 2 of them down so that the other one warps off or something like that. Otherwise, they just hang around and tear your ass up. And anyway, so that's the it's really neat. It's almost like animals out here in Eve, dude. That was like a herd of hippos. Those 3 things staying so close together like that. If they were singled out, if there was just one of them down there, yeah, I'd have probably taken my chances. But more than one, they're more dangerous than they are a target.
That's pretty wild.
That is, man. That is. It takes a lot of reading and a lot of paying attention to non-apparent information. Like, you've got to look up what a retriever is, have a look at its signature rate. I had a mobile depot with me, but that was not the time to warp off somewhere and try to figure out how to work one of those fucking things for the first time. I mean, I would have loved to. I think those rage torpedoes that have a 750 meter explosion radius. If you're shooting at something that's got a signature radius above 750, over 750, and you're hitting them with those rage torpedoes, you're tearing some ass up. But it has to be a big target. I don't know if those retrievers were large enough, but that may have been the only way that I could have attacked. And I wouldn't have been able to stay around. I would have popped out, chose one, popped him, and tried to run off. And that would be if the others' drones didn't warp scramble me or whatever they do.
Man, I am trying I'm starting to dig in deeper to like some of Jordan Peterson's talks and stuff. I think what he has to say is important. I feel like it is, at least. I feel like it aligns with my beliefs, at least. He's very anti-Marxist. And that's certainly important because I think Marxism is definitely just like a dream, you know? It's not a functioning system of society nor economics. And I'm trying to dig into now, like, some of Jordan's talks on, or Dr. Peterson's talks on, like postmodernism and stuff like that. And I'm trying to really understand postmodernism and what it is, what it means, and all that stuff. Because I mean, that shit's difficult. There's a lot there. I mean, you start talking postmodernism, and I mean, right off like the top of these guys' heads, like 10 names show up. So now I feel like half obligated to start digging into like the theories of these 10 other guys. And it's way deeper than that, even, you know. I don't know. It's a crazy rabbit hole I'm trying to dive into. I realize that. But I think it's important. It's certainly going to make me more knowledgeable about, I guess, about the goals that people are trying to accomplish, whether they realize it or not. Because a lot of people are just following other people without knowing what the end goal really is. You know, they think they're just following some moral compass, of course. I think that's where like Marxism kind of gets you, is that, well, I have to do this because it's morally correct. You know, this helps other people. And if you don't do this, you're not helping other people and you must be a monster. But I know the original intention of Marxism was basically the rich versus the poor. And Peterson asserts that didn't work out because the middle class was a thing too. Of course, now the middle class is disappearing, which has been, you know, the result of at least the past administration, if not the past few administrations. Bush didn't do anything to help the middle class, I don't think. I think Obama definitely did his best to gut the middle class. And I think it's obviously important that societies have a middle class. You got to have somebody working. That's important. I don't understand how it gets overlooked so much, or how the middle class doesn't have a voice. There's a little chat going on right now in Our Libertarian. Well, 6 hours ago, talking about taxes as usual. They were talking about more roads is how everything goes when you talk about taxes. Taxes, more roads.
More roads.
Somebody was asking, and they were like, well, how do you expect the government to exist without taxes? And somebody said, by providing a service that the populace is willing to pay for voluntarily. Because the difference is consent. A private company has to work for your dollars. The government just takes your dollars. The same person asks, and this is a fly nap, in Our Libertarian here. He says, what is the government uniquely good at? What is the government uniquely good at such that would be shit? Words, man. What is the government uniquely good at such that it should be preserved? And the response was a centralized and unified way to create and enforce various systems such as sovereignty enforced by military and law enforced by police. And yeah, those are good things. Well,
we definitely need a government to be able to defend our borders. I mean, that's going to get a lot of eye rolls from a lot of people on the left, but we do have a government in order for us to organize ourselves as a nation apart from other people's.
Yeah, I mean, these are our borders, and yeah, definitely. This is us. That's you. You guys are ruled by that guy. We're ruled by this guy, or these people, or this company. So, a military, for sure. Law enforced by the police. I don't know.
And I mean, we're also talking about there are different law enforcement entities, there it is as local as your sheriff's department for your rural residents. You got your municipal police for the city, and you got your staties, and you got federal law enforcement. Then, you got the folks, the Department of Justice, that runs all the way up to the government, the law of the land. Of course, you have various attorneys general, stuff like that. And that's kind of where Lady Justice bumps up against politics.
I feel like a lot of our laws have to be... Our police has militarized itself against...
Some would say that it calls for it. I'm not so sure. I can tell you that the FBI needs to be dismantled and something else needs to be set up in its stead. That is a compromised organization. When you were thinking about or talking about the the government, what's worth keeping, I on the law enforcement side, I would definitely say the local stuff is worth it. Closer it is to home, the more worth it is. I think the further up you go, it needs to get more decentralized. And one of the the FBI right now is a sterling example. Okay, look, any way you slice it, there are known communications that have been made public by people within the FBI that are just wholly 100% unprofessional, and they are not operating within good faith. They are not unbiased. And it's been compromised, the entire organization.
it's weird to me to think that even like, and this is just in like today's climate, blah, that even your Secret Service agents, the people who are supposed to be taking care of the president, like the guys who covered Obama, are they the same guys that cover Trump? Like, don't they have their own political beliefs and agendas and,
Not supposed to, it's at least we're supposed to be under the impression that those guys take their jobs so freaking seriously, they don't have time to worry about politics, which is how it fucking should be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that like politics shouldn't deal with our day-to-day lives. Like, not the day-to-day lives of the individual. We shouldn't be up in arms like this. But the government has reached its arm so far up everyone's fucking asshole that everybody has to have a say in the government now. And I think that's a big problem that we've got, is that the government's got to get out of our day-to-day lives, because we can't just keep thinking about, the government's become a fucking theater. It's become a reality show, and that's, it's done this long before we had a reality star as a president.
Yeah.
But
sorry. It is. It's one big Shakespearean play. It's so contrived. These people are so fake. These established politicians are, on the right and the left. They're the politicians that were all for, invading Iraq. They're all for perpetuating war. Like all these people bitching at Trump about wanting to pull out of Syria. Why the hell is that a bad idea? Why do we need young American men and women over there? Why?
The only reason I heard is because we're allied with the Kurds. And as soon as we pull out, Syria's going to start butt raping the Kurds.
They haven't given a rat's ass about the Kurds, dude. I can't believe that is being used. That really is a hell of a thing.
Well, and
I don't know, man.
That was from someone neutral. Well, who seemed to be fairly neutral. It was a guy. It was a former CIA on Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't doubt that he's right about that. There's not going to be leaving an area like that after we've been there for so long. Obviously, we've made contacts with groups of people down there that have benefited from our presence that are going to be in a worse off position if we leave. There's no. It fucking sucks, man, because I don't know. Those poor people were they had to totally come together as a people to fight ISIS, a very clear evil in that land. As clear as evil as the Nazis under Hitler himself. That there's no moral ambiguity about that type of enemy. That was evil in the world. And yeah, that sucks that if we leave, that the Kurds are going to be left to fend for themselves, and they have put up with abuse from neighboring countries. Because they are, I don't know, they're just one of those numerous ethnic minorities across the world who are treated like dirt by other people for who knows what reason. And yeah, that freaking sucks, man. I had assumed that argument was coming from, some douchebag on our politics and not, somebody of a learned background, That's why it was shocking to me at the onset of you saying that.
I don't know. I don't see a way out of this. And I mean, I don't think history has seen a way out of this other than a civil war where you've got a government that's too big. We've got the benefit of the internet, kind of, where the internet's unique in that, like, we don't have geographical culture anymore. Now you can go and seek out your own culture. Like, these are the people I want to be around. These are the people I can find. The advent of social media in general, I guess, has really stymied the internet. It's basically taken all of your smaller forums of thought and mixed them all together in this big pool of, like, everybody's just yelling at each other because it's fucking everybody. I'd stay away from those places, except to follow, people that I appreciate. That's those platforms are good for people who have large followers of people. I mean, I guess, I don't know. So, Sword and Scale podcast recently just went off the rails. And yeah, their host, Mike Boudet, has a history of kind of being an asshole, but whatever. I mean, who cares, I guess? In my opinion, he had the best podcast I'd ever heard in my life. I mean, I've listened to Sword and Scale religiously since I started, 3 or 4 years ago. And just his delivery, the content they cover, it's very visceral, it's very real. They do an incredible job. But right before, apparently the day before International Women's Day, he said something on Sword and Scale's Instagram page that he didn't understand. Like, he didn't understand stupid cunts. So he's going to take one. So maybe he should take one apart. And
dude, that's what he said.
Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, but that was exactly the meaning that he was conveying, that I don't understand stupid cunts, so I'm going to try and take one apart. Or, it's I should take one apart. He didn't say I'm going to. It was obviously a joke.
Dude, yeah. And I don't know. I think it's funny because the thought of him, like, I don't know, sitting at a workbench with that silly little thing that, a dentist would wear on his head, but that's kind of like a monocle / microscope. That's just so freaking funny. That's just so funny to me. The tools scattered about. Is it a totally off-color joke? Yes.
Yeah, but
it's quite abrasive and pejorative, but
that's what jokes are,
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's abrasive and pejorative in this world. I don't know. The hard nut Pop-Tart, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
ooh, there's a heron in here. This is it. Okay, I'm in this conversation though. I just had to let you know that I've been in this fishing spot for a little bit. And this guy is finally around. Can I well, that's way off topic. Never mind, buddy. I didn't mean to derail the conversation. Let's go ahead and continue.
Okay. You're good. Talking about, I guess, social media in general. I don't know. Talking about where the world's going, how we're going to get out of where we're at. Because, the
fact that there is too much government, like there's you. I don't know if it's like socialism where they say you vote yourself into it and you got to shoot your way out of it. That's definitely true for socialism, if you ask me.
Why did Rome fall? What happened there?
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't feel like either of us have. Well, I can only speak for myself, I guess, but I lump you in with my demographic. But I don't feel like either of us really have any sort of representation in the government. That either of us, I don't think there's anybody fighting for the working citizen.
Yeah, there's definitely no one in there right now that I 100% agree with. You know, a couple years ago, I thought that there was that. Yeah, that, oh, of course, you know, I agree with this person, but no, I really I don't these days.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to do about it. Personally, I just don't. I don't feel represented. Um, and you know, you and I certainly aren't the only ones. That's for sure. I don't know what this means for the next election. The next election is going to be, I don't know. Every election is kind of interesting, I guess, but looking forward to see what happens in the 2020s. Gas prices have spiked recently. I wonder if they spiked just because people are getting tax returns and nobody's going to bitch about it because everybody's got some money right now. Because we did. I mean, I did get some money back on my tax return this year, despite my old self-employment tax. That's a load of bullshit. Oh, you're trying to be an entrepreneur. You owe us more money.